Welcome back, Patriots. We're going to continue our number study and talk about probability. So what is probability? Probability is the chance of something you want to happen. Okay? So let's take a look here at this definition. What is probability? Probability is the likelihood of something happening. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, what you do is you take the chance of what you want and compare it to the chances of everything else that could have happened. And so a probability is basically on a number scale from 0 to 1, meaning they're sort of like percentages, okay? 0% means never, ever, ever going to happen. No chance of this happening, okay? 1 is 100% certainty. It is actually happening right now. There's no way to avoid it, okay? Most things fall in between 0 and 1. And so we can list things as a fraction or as a decimal or as a percentage, and they all would mean probability, okay? So let's say you are looking at the weather forecast and it says that the chance of rain is 60%. That's a probability. The chance of it raining compared to the chances of all the other weather that could happen, right? It could be foggy, it could be windy, it could snow, all the possible other weather that could happen, 60% chance of rain, okay? So 0 would be 0 chance of something happening, right? Like 0 over 1, right? 0.5 is like 1 out of 2, right? It's half the chance. And 1 is like 1 over 1, right? You could have a fraction, right? Or that might be like 5 over 5 or something like that, right? You can also have it in percentage format. So this would be a 0% chance of something happening, okay? This is a 50% chance of something happening. And this is a 100% chance of something happening, right? So probability can happen, and all three of these answers would be correct because we can show them in either one of those forms. Let's look at an example of probability. Okay, how do we calculate probability? This is the notation. P stands for probability, and this is what you're looking for, goes in this little parenthesis box here. And then we would talk about desired events. This is what you would consider a success, okay? This would make you happy over all the other things that could have happened, all the other events that could have happened. So the number that you would consider a good thing over the total probability. Let's look at an example. Say you have a container full of marbles, okay? I have a jar full of marbles here in my classroom. Let's say it has 40 marbles in the total jar, okay? 8 of those marbles are blue, 13 of them are yellow, 10 are red, and 9 are green. So you're always going to have to total up and know how many marbles you're dealing with, okay? If the problem doesn't give it to you, all you do is add up your pieces and get your total. So what this means is, let's remember, success, right, over the total. Okay, so we know that we have 40 marbles. That's what we're working with. Now let's read the problem and figure out what we would consider a win or a success. Okay, here it says, what's the probability that you get a red marble? So we're considering red a win, okay? So this would be the probability of getting red, right? That's how we could write that, right? What's the probability of getting a red? Well, if only the red marbles are considered a good thing, then I want one of those 10 red marbles. That would be a win, okay? If I pull the blue, yellow, or green, I lose the game, right? It's not a win. So here, I'm going to reduce this fraction. So my probability of getting a red is 1 over 4, or 0.25, or 25%. Those all say the same thing, and so I could write my answer in any of those formats. That's how we figure out probability. Theoretical probability, okay? Theoretical probability is how you figure out the probability without doing anything, okay? So for instance, in that last problem, we didn't actually do anything, right? We knew based on the number of marbles that it was a 1 in 4 chance to get a red marble, but we didn't do anything. So that's called theoretical. Or again, if you know what a dice looks like, right? A dice has 6 sides on it, right? What's the probability that I get a 1? Well, a dice has 6 sides, and there's only one side that has a 1. Therefore, there's a 1 in 6 chance that I get a 1. That's a probability. We call that theoretical because no one actually rolled the dice. Okay? There's another type called experimental probability. Experimental probability says, despite what we know about an object, we still have to do the work and record what we get, right? So even though we know there's only one side that has a 1 on a dice, we can't figure out the probability that way. We actually have to roll the dice, okay? And we're going to look at examples of both here. So here we are. We have a dice, right? It's got 6 sides on it. What's the probability that we roll a 3, right? So this is our success, and the dice has 6 sides total, right? So I'm going to say, what's the probability of getting a 3? Well, there's one side that has a 3, and there's 6 sides total. Therefore, my probability is 1 in 6. Did I roll the dice? No, I didn't. So this is called theoretical, okay? This is theoretical because I didn't do anything, right? I know something about a dice that helped me get my answer. Let's look at this. This time, notice that someone rolled a dice 60 times, right? They rolled the dice 60 times. They actually did it. They sat at a table and they rolled the dice 60 times, okay? So here they recorded how many times they got each of the sides. For instance, a 1 landed heads up 9 times. They got a 2 on the dice 6 times. These total up to 60. This is how many times they rolled the dice and how many times each number showed up. So this is called experimental probability because they actually did it. These numbers can and most likely will be different than theoretical. This time, they considered 3 a success. But look at, they got them 12 times, right? So they rolled a dice 60 times total, and 12 of those 60 they got as a 3, okay? So all we're going to do is reduce that fraction. So we're going to get, let's see, 6, the 1 and 5. Notice that's different than theoretical. That's okay. When you do an experiment, there's things like human error and environmental factors that can change your outcomes, okay? So just because it's different doesn't mean it's wrong. So experimentally means I actually did an experiment and I got a number. Theoretical was I didn't do an experiment and just based on what I know, I get my answer. So that's how you do probability. So go ahead and try your assignment. Come back to this video if you need more help or ask your teacher.